What's going on, guys? Me and Christian, we got our KMA softball shirts on.
Yeah.
Even though we just lost today and I got ejected, but it's all good. And this kid over here, he's about to throw some blows with people. This is a little violent motherfucker. That's all I gotta say. So, Jimmy Leyland, he has stepped down as manager of the Detroit Tigers today. He announced it this morning at about I want to say 9:30, 10 o'clock. I found out about Jim Leyland. He decided to step down. And believe it or not, I don't know if you heard this part of it. But you remember after we got shellacked by Boston 20-4?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the night after in KC when we beat him like 15-2?
Yeah, in September. I saw the press conference.
Yeah.
September 7th, he said
Yeah.
he was done.
He said he was done then, so...
He was on the phone with Dombrowski or whatever, and he said that he couldn't take it no more with his body or something.
Yeah.
He said he was done.
So he kept this secret the whole entire time that he was actually done back in September. So he's had this in his mind for over a month and a half now that he's done. He knew he was done. He wanted to end it. He said his body couldn't handle it. You know, I'm sure all the media and all the pressure and expectations the last 2 years, you know, that man, can you imagine the stress that puts on you? You know.
Well, the fans were really hard on him, and I don't care what you say, because you said it wasn't because of the fans. I'm not saying it is, but I think a part of it played into it, because getting scrutinized every game for your every move. If he breathes, he was getting yelled at for it by the fans.
Especially in the playoffs, every single pitching change, I mean...
I'm sorry, that takes a role on you as a person. It's not why he left, but it could be a little...
Well, that's stress, and it builds on you, and I agree. You know, and so Jimmy Leyland's gone, and you take a look at his 8 years. Let's see, in 2006, how old were you?
I'm 19.
12.
I'm 19.
You were 12, yeah. So you were 12, I was 15, and I had only been into baseball a few years then, because him and I both started watching at 03, and he was real young, you know. And when we first started watching...
Dickinson was my favorite, just saying.
When we first started watching, guys like Mike Maroth, Alex Sanchez, remember him?
I remember playing old PlayStation 2 games. We juice up Maroth.
Yeah, just because I liked Mike Maroth.
Him so much.
You know, Maroth, Alex Sanchez... And my boy Alan Trammell was at the helm of the Tigers, you know.
And Dimitri.
And Dimitri Young and Bobby Higginson. And Damian Easley, Eric Munson, Fernando Vina. But nonetheless.
Well, I forgot about Vina. That's a good one.
Yeah.
2B, right? I think it was 2B.
Yeah, second baseman, yep.
Yeah, I remember.
But nonetheless, you know, those guys were only there for 2 years. My 2 years, first 2 years watching baseball. Over the last 10, there's always been that one consistent. Or the last 8, I should say, because I've been watching baseball for 10 years. It's always been Jimmy Leyland at the helm. You know, as much as sometimes I didn't like Jim Leyland, because I wasn't the biggest Leyland fan per se, but I always liked him as a person. I thought he was a good manager. The only knock on Jim Leyland I ever had with him was I thought he was a terrible manager when it came to managing the bullpen. I thought sometimes he went to his bullpen too early, or he went to the wrong guy. You know, sometimes relied on Phil Koch too much sometimes. But you know, I made a video earlier this year, you know, telling it was time to give Leyland some credit, and it really is. I mean, over his 8 years, 2 pennants, 06 and last year, 4 playoff berths, and 8 years. I mean, if you look at the Tigers' previous 15 years before that, they had only been above third place once. I mean, Jim Leyland has had this club more competitive in his 8 years than any 8-year stretch in Tigers history. I mean, you can go look. From any 8 years, you can pick it. You know, from, let's say, their first 8 years in the league, from 1901 till 1910. They went to the World Series 3 times in a 3-year stretch, but after that, they didn't do anything till 1935. They were absolutely horrible. And then after 1934 and 1935, you know, they didn't do anything until 1940, and then they didn't do anything until 1944, 1945. And then they didn't do anything until 1961, even though they didn't come into the, you know, didn't go to the World Series that year because of the Yankees. And then they didn't do anything until 67, and then 68 they won it, and then they went back in 73, but they got bounced by, or 72, and they got bounced by the A's. And then they didn't do anything until 83, and they didn't do anything after that until 84, and then they didn't do anything until 87, and after 87 they didn't do anything until 06. So I mean, you can look at, you know, I just went from 1901 till 2013 like that. I mean, you can count on one fucking 2 hands how wide the playoff berths and successes were for the Tigers. There wasn't really much there. And every single year, I mean, the last 3 years, the Tigers hadn't won a division title ever until 2011, and now they got 3 banners. They got more banners than anyone in the last 7 years in the division in just the last 3. I mean, he's had this team in the playoffs every year, 2 pennants, and he's 700 wins. He's been an outstanding manager, and like Chris said, that guy couldn't fart without someone going, where did it come from? You should have farted this way. Every single move he did was scrutinized, and it was wrong. And I think now that he's gone, he stepped down. If the Tigers do what they do every year, come out in the first half, kind of play a little bit, under their expectations. They do their 10 games over 500 for the longest time. And they come out and do it again next year, people are going to go, well, maybe it just wasn't Jim Leyland. Maybe this is really how the team's put together. And, it's going to be like that. And I'm actually kind of excited to see what a new face is going to do. Just so if the Tigers do play like they did this year, you can rub it in their face and go, it just wasn't Jim Leyland. It's not his style of managing. And you should be thankful for all the stuff he done. But instead, he gets shit on.
Yep. And you don't got to hear, you don't hear them or whatever be like, Leland's not the one swinging the bat or throwing the pitches. He's given the players that are supplied to him, and he's not the one out there doing it. He's just putting what he has out there.
And everything Leyland ever done, he's been under the microscope about it, and he really hasn't gotten the credit he deserves, in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to say he's a sure hofer or anything like that, but over the last 5 years, the man hasn't gotten the credit he deserves for the job he's done with this team. That's all I got to say. I mean, you see, all the players begged him to stay. They didn't want him to leave. I mean, guys legitimately wanted to come to Detroit to play for Jim Leyland because Torrey Hunter included. I mean, they legitimately liked this guy a lot. And, he didn't get the respect he deserves, I think, by fans, because too many people wanted to undermine every move he did and say another guy would have did better. It's like Dallas Cowboys fans. When a light bulb burns out, all they do is talk about how good the old one was. They don't. It pisses me off. So now we're going to go on to the point of who we think might replace Jim Leyland.
Kevin Millar. No, I'm joking. That'd be really bad. Kind of funny, though.
And, for a guy who
that was a joke, okay? I don't want to hear nothing about that.
For a guy like me who usually has an opinion on everything, I'm truly stumped.
Although I like 1-5.
Yeah, I do like Kevin Millar, but he wouldn't be a manager. No. I'm truly stumped, really. I mean, you go through the people. Charlie Manuel, he's too old.
Yeah, and then this talks about Dusty Baker. He had a really bad problem with the Reds and couldn't even get out of the
people want to talk about Leyland being a choke artist in the playoffs. Go look at Dusty Baker's managerial. Yeah. He sucks, and he burns pitchers' arms out. Look at Pryor and Kerry Wood. And then, Manuel's too old. Everyone's like, get Kirk Gibson, because everyone here in Michigan has a boner for getting someone from the 84 team. Look, people, just because he played here before doesn't mean he's going to be a good manager. Look what the Cubs made Ryan Sandberg go to Philly to manage, and Ryan Sandberg's a Hall of Famer for them. I mean, just because you play on that team doesn't mean he's going to be a good manager for you. Alan Trammell sucked as a Tigers manager. He only had like 75 wins each season. I mean, he sucked. I mean, mind you, the teams weren't that good he managed, but he wasn't that great of a manager. And there's a reason why he only lasted 2 years and Leyland came in 2006. People are saying maybe Manny Acta. I don't know. Ozzie Guillen.
No. God, no.
I dealt with his dumb ass when he was on the White Sox for the longest time. He's a big mouth, and I can't stand his personality. So, and then people are going, maybe they promote within. Brad Ausmus was a name he's been in the minor leagues for a little while, managing, and I think he might come up. But Dave Dombrowski's already said he wanted a veteran manager, so he wouldn't qualify being a rookie
manager that's had experience and can help win a championship and can go through it pretty much. He wants experience. So,
already off my list is Baker, Manuel, Guillen. If anyone ever says Bobby Valentine, I'll have to hit him in the face, because honestly, I would never want to. He's a cancer. I wouldn't want him on my team. Brad Ausmus, but he's a rookie guy. And then you get all these idiots. Tony La Russa, he's going to come in. Yeah, because Tony La Russa's going to come manage the Tigers. Lou Piniella. I mean, people just living in the dream world. And then, like I said about the Kirk Gibson, that's not going to happen. But some people have made some good points. Some people think they might promote within. Maybe Gene Lamont, because he managed the White Sox back in the mid-'90s. I don't know about Gino coming. He's kind of old there, too. I don't think he'd be a long-term fix.
And then you had McClendon with the Pirates.
Yeah, McClendon wasn't too successful with the Pirates, so I wouldn't really want him there. Tom Brookins, I don't know. But I heard this today. Jeff Jones.
Really?
I might not be opposed to seeing Jeff Jones manage Tigers. As good as the job he did with our pitching staff this year, I think he's got some baseball know-how that he would be. I think he would be a pretty good manager. I really do, because he's been on this team for a while. He knows this. He knows his staff, and I think I like Jeff Jones. Maybe I don't think Rafael Belliard either would be a good guy for it, but Jeff Jones I might be open to seeing manage a squad. And one more thing I gotta say, with Leland gone, I'm truly because this isn't like a video where I'm telling you guys. I want your opinion. I have no idea. I'm like I said, for a guy that has an opinion on everything, I truly have no clue who the Tigers are going to go after. Baker, no. Manuel, no. Acton, no. Guillen, no. Like I said about Osmus, no Gibson.
Maybe I should really tweet 1-5 and see if he'd be up for it.
I mean, I'm truly drawing a blank of who I want to manage the Tigers. So what do you guys think? I mean, I have no idea. I wouldn't be opposed to Jeff Jones, and I want to know, now that Leland's gone, does Brookins, Lamont, and Belliard follow ship and they don't get brought back by whoever the manager is for the squad? So, like I said, Jimmy Leyland.
Yeah, but I think if they bring a new manager, they're just not going to shit can everyone. That'd be stupid.
Well, a lot of times when a new manager comes in, he brings his own staff. And the old staff's gone.
I understand.
I mean, that's what happens. When Ozzie Yan got fired, Joey Cora went along right with him. Eduardo Perez came in.
And if we do keep the same staff, I really hope Brookins learns third base better as a coach.
Oh, my God, Tommy Brookins. That's another story. But, like I said, guys, Leyland deserves more credit. He's a great manager. And now next year, you guys, a lot of you guys who hate Leyland are going to see, all the stuff you're blaming on him for. And when it happens again with this, whoever is that manager, our team, it truly wasn't his fault. I mean, he got the short on the stick. So, sad to see Jimmy L go. I'm clueless for ideas of who is going to replace him. Who do you think? And that's all I got for this one.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jimmy L. Have a good one, guys.